time it is!
Thank you once again for checking out the C Squared Hour. I'm your host, Chris, bringing you another episode full of thoughts and opinions you can only find at the greasiest dive bars. But because I'm bringing it to you in podcast form, you're not going to need a tetanus shot after you hear them. So, you're welcome, folks. I know most of my listeners are going to be asking, where is the other Chris? Funny you should ask. The last week and a half, 2 weeks or so, he has been out in Detroit. You might ask, why? Well, it's not because hockey season just started up. It's not because basketball season's starting up. It's not because the Tigers missed the playoffs, so he's going for clearance sales at the ballpark. No, what he is doing, he is lobbying automakers. And what he's petitioning them to do is to start making cars with hubcaps again. He's a little nostalgic sometimes, and this is the hill he's dying on for a while now, I guess. He is talking to the automakers. He wants hubcaps to be used again. Mostly because it's another thing that can be manufactured in the U.S., create jobs, what have you. I mean, something extra you can add to the price of a car, a good hubcap on a new car, probably what, $7,000, $8,000? That's a little expensive car joke for you guys. Yeah, hard hitting. Not only is he trying to get more jobs created and another thing going, he's worried about really with, school just starting up. He saw a void in this summer. And what he saw is a lot of youngsters ages 10 to 13 who were just bored all summer. Had nothing to do. Parents were worried about them, hanging out with too many people. You don't have enough disinfectant wipes to, wipe down the entire playground. So they didn't have as much to do. And he said, look, what's one thing that kids used to love doing? Stealing hubcaps. So if you start doing that, not only do you bring more jobs, you give these children something, we'll call it productive to do over the few months that you're not busy. So, in case you're wondering, that is what he's doing. He is looking into basically how to get that set up. He's been talking to, GM's the main one. I think he's really going after, just because there's 3-4 brands under that are all American built or whatever. So GM's really who he's trying to push. But we'll see. He really wants to make a difference in a lot of preteens' lives. So we could just hope that gets taken care of. And always, I have to start the episode by setting out the invite. Randy, let's lace him up, bud. Offer still there. I know I still sound like a hack, but I'd rather sound like a hack than sound like a pussy. So that's why you're still hearing the offer. That's why even with all these dumbass celebrity boxing things, Lamar Odom versus Nick Carter, you actually need to see that. That's why with all of these things you're still seeing, I'm still extending the offer. Simply because I don't want to look like a pussy. I don't have much more to go off of that. There really hasn't been anything new to really necessitate my want of the fight. It's all just the old normal stuff. So yeah, Randy, the offer's still there. I may sound like a hack, but I'm not going to sound like a pussy. My fans out there, I have to tell you guys, I didn't know if I wanted to go into this, but I felt it important to tell you. I almost quit this week. Almost quit. And I found out something I probably should have known long before, but hey, I like to put my blinders on. I like to live in my own little tunnel. That way, no matter what I say, I'm never wrong because I only base it on the facts that I know. Anyway, I have to start by saying, fuck Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen has a podcast. Seth Rogen. Why? Why? You have all these movies, you have fake political causes you pretend to be into. This is all I got, bud. This hopefully is gonna buy me all the shoes I need for the next 3 years. Small goals. I'm starting small. That's right. Seth Rogen, why the fuck are you doing it? Oh, for fun. Well, fuck you. Fuck you. What are you doing with the money for it? I liken it to when you look at like Steph Curry or you look at big celebrities and athletes playing in golf tournaments. If I was any sort of professional golfer, that would annoy me. But Seth Rogen, wow, I just compared myself to a real podcaster. Shouldn't have gone there. I feel a little douchey now. But Seth Rogen, come on. And you're probably making a bunch of money off of it and whatever, but come on, dude, this is all I got. Help a brother out. Seriously, what do I have to do to get these multimillionaires, people who are just doing it for shits and giggles? What do I have to do to get them out of my lane? At least until I start making real money off this. Once I start seeing, I don't know. I'm not going to say a number because no matter what number I say, half of you are going to say it's too high. Half of you are going to say. Once I start seeing some money out of this thing, yeah, you could go do your little podcast when you're bored, when the right script didn't come across, or the movie you were going to make you think is too problematic nowadays, or whatever is your reason for needing to kill time. Just wait till I start making money, all right? Until then, fuck you, Seth Rogen. I have not as many topics as I did last episode, but I do have a lot of topics, so this is going to, this might seem like it's kind of jumping all over the place, but there might be a method to the madness. We'll see when this is over. Again, halfway done with my second beer, so we'll see what happens when I start digging into these, huh? Well, Squid Game's the big thing going on. I haven't watched it yet. I'm not going to talk about it. But I think with this being the new viral Netflix thing, I think the statute of limitations is finally up. I think I could say something that I've been embarrassed about, kind of worried how some of my fans would take it. But since the statute of limitations, I think, is up because there's a new viral thing, I have to say. When I first heard about it, I thought Tiger King was a karate movie. Just said it. I don't think anything needs to be said more on that one. If you can hear it in the atmosphere or the ambiance, I did start this a little later than I wanted to, just because baseball ended on a walk-off. 9th inning, the football game went to OT. Yeah, so started a little later. There's going to be a lot of sports in this. Buckle up, sports fans. Real quick, before I get to my main beef this time. The last couple weeks, I don't know if it's a special anniversary of it or whatever, they keep showing when that 70-year-old fat pitching coach ran after Pedro Martinez in the playoffs, and Pedro grabbed him by his face and threw him to the ground. And all we're seeing is Pedro Martinez apologizing, and it was this worst thing he's ever done, and it's a... No. Fuck that old prick. You have nothing to apologize for, alright? I'm not a Pedro Martinez fan. I think he's kind of a douche. I think he's pretty fucking annoying. But what I will say is you were not wrong there. 300 pounds of 75-year-old man comes barreling at you like he's gonna fucking do something, and you just grab him and throw him to the ground. That's what you're supposed to fucking do. I would still be on board if you beat the living fuck out of that guy. But you didn't. You restrained yourself. You just threw him to the ground, so whatever the fuck he was planning on doing. But oh my god, how could Pedro Martinez do that? Maybe that old fuck should stay in his lane. But no, we have to listen to fucking Pedro Martinez pretend to apologize. He probably is really apologizing. I don't trust it. He strikes me as a douche, and honestly, it always annoyed me. Why was Pedro the bad guy? He wasn't even in the middle of the fucking fight at the time. Don Zimmer avoided everything and went after Pedro Martinez. So fuck that old piece of shit. Pedro did exactly what he should have done. I'm going to say it. And if he did 10 times more, I still would be on Pedro's side. They were talking tonight, the third base coach for the Braves, sent a couple guys home, on close plays. And they said, he must have ice in his veins. No, this is Ron Washington. He got fired from the Rangers. He doesn't have ice in his veins. He has coke in his bloodstream. He lost his head manager job for that. So if you're scoring runs, but because of the guy, if the guy's helping out, let him do a few rails between innings, before he gets out there. Oh, he's the most aggressive third base coach. Yeah, coke will do that to a guy. If there's anyone who's you're gonna think is the most aggressive base coach, it's probably the guy who got popped for doing cocaine. Just a little quick one off there. Don't have much on that. You know what I just realized? I have a shitload of sports stuff on here. Not one mention of John Gruden. Look at that, folks. I might next time, but who knows. I'm going to have to spout off something that I've said many times before, and no one gives a flying fuck except for me. There's a close play at home plate in tonight's game. Guy slides around the tag, barely touches the base, barely misses the tag. The umpire was right there, and he called it right. They reviewed it. He was safe. Great play, great slide, great throw, great. Not one mention of the ump being in perfect position and making the right bang bang call. Not one mention of it. But you know what? If he missed it, there sure would have been mention of that. Oh, they called him out originally, but they reviewed it and he was safe. No, he was safe. That's all they're going to say about it. Again, no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit except for me. But I'm going to continue with that because, by God, it annoys me. Anyone who knows me on a personal level knows why I get slightly annoyed by that, but I don't know if you can hear it in my voice at all, but tonight I'm running into a little disdain with sports in general. And we could all talk about, it's everyone talks about, the modern day athletes, they're getting, sports is getting soft now. Now you don't know what, well, it is, yes. Let me jump on that bandwagon and talk about it. What was a weird fucking accent I just came up with? I could nerd out all day long about how hockey is getting soft and experiences with that. I talked about it for 3 fucking hours today. But the most recent professional example The White Sox, one of the players, I believe a relief pitcher, all but accused the Houston Astros, of cheating. Now, this is the same Astros who two guys lost their jobs because of a cheating scandal. It's been a whole big thing for a couple years now. Luckily, COVID took fans out of the stadium, so they really didn't get it too bad. But it's been a thing. The White Sox accuse them. The last game of that series wasn't all that close. How does no one on Houston throw at a White Sox guy? They accuse you of cheating, and you just let it go. How did you not throw one over a guy's head? How did you not drill him in the ribs? You have to do that. You have to. And again, I don't like being a stereotype. I don't like being predictable. But baseball, you're softening up. A guy accuses you of cheating. You have to do something about it. Oh, it's the playoffs. You had the series won from the second inning of that last game on. Don't give me, it's the playoffs, anything could happen. No, not anything could happen. You drill a guy who can't run, and we go about our day. Jesus, you can get away with calling somebody a cheater now. I swear to God, I am done being a baseball fan. I mean, I'm getting close already, but I'm officially done if someone makes a reference to an opposing player's mother, and someone doesn't wear a pitch for that. If that doesn't happen, you could even give it to basketball. I mean, Delonte West fucked LeBron's mom, and LeBron put him on the streets. Where's that? What kind of world are we living in where LeBron is more of an example of masculinity in sports than baseball? They accused you of cheating. Again, 2 years after the scandal, they accuse you again. And with really nothing to back it up, minus, oh wow, they hit really good when they're at home. Come on, someone's got to wear a pitch. You got to. You wonder why. I mean, baseball will never cease to exist. There's enough. But you wonder why baseball isn't seen in the same reverence as it was in the 80s, in the 70s, hell, even the 90s. You know why it's not seen the same way? Because shit like that doesn't happen. There has to be a little revenge in your sport. And that's the easiest way to show that there is. But fucking nothing. I feel like Michael Clark Duncan, I'm tired, boss. I'm just tired of all this shit. Although, what does give me hope, there is a sporting event that did give me hope. Wilder versus Fury just happened. Damn, was that a fight. Fury, I thought, won handily. But if you need a reminder of what... I mean, granted, it didn't go into the mainstream like the others, but if you need a reminder of what a real heavyweight bout is supposed to look like, that was it. Fury goes down, twice in the first round? Gets back up. He went down a total of 3 times, didn't he? Yeah, still manages to walk through it. Only guy who I've seen get up that easily after Wilder put him down twice in a row. But then Fury outboxed him and knocked him out in the 11th of the 12th. It reminded me a little bit of the Klitschko-Joshua fight. I don't know if I talked about it on this show. It was kind of a while ago, but the heavyweight division has to be good for boxing. It has to be good if you want people to watch boxing. And that was a good sign. Because you just had Joshua lose. So, Anthony Joshua fights Tyson Fury. That's obviously next. Or, I'm sorry. The dude who beat Anthony Joshua fights Tyson Fury, obviously. Anthony Joshua fights Wilder. We get the same fight, but they're both coming off 2 losses. So, we're good there, but we need these fights to be made. But yeah, watching that fight, it reminded me, just the atmosphere, the environment, the type of fight, the excitement. It reminded me of watching the old, I mean, I wasn't watching them live, but it gave the same feeling as something big's happening. You're watching something that is going to be talked about for a long time. And when boxing is good, that's what you see. You don't really get that in UFC. Most likely because the brand is bigger than the names. Where boxing, the names are bigger than the brand. So you get more of the talking. You get more of the... I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you get more personally invested than you do in a UFC fight. If you're a fan of both. The one thing I can hope for, coming up in about a month, Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford are fighting. Hopefully, that gets a shit ton of people watching. A, it's going to be an awesome fight. B, when you get one division in the middle of the weights, this is welterweight, but you get one division that's really good there, and then you get good heavyweights, and honestly, that's when boxing's at its best. It has potential to be... This fight has potential to be on the same quality as like a Hagler, a Hearns, a De La Hoya fight. Not De La Hoya. Well, I guess, yeah, even De La Hoya or Floyd. It has the same... It could very well be there. Who the fuck was I... Was I thinking Chavez? That doesn't sound right. Sugar Ray Leonard. I don't know how I mixed those two up. But yeah, those were the big fighters that you saw. Boxing was great. It was up there. So hopefully people will check it out. Porter Crawford has the potential to be one of the best fights of the year. If not, maybe the last 5, even 10 years. So, mark that on me. I believe it's November 6th. I'm sure I'm going to talk about it again. So, people, if you enjoyed Wilder Fury, if you had a pulse, you probably did. Trust me, Crawford Porter is gonna be good. It may end early. It may end before 12. But it's going to be fun when it does. I promise you. God damn, I wasn't lying. I have a lot of sports on here. I just thought I could have stopped. I could have broken up the sports talk with a big news story I saw. The guy who started 8chan, the Asian guy, the QAnon documentary on HBO basically said was Q. He's running for Congress in Arizona. Seems like a relatively good place for the 8chan guy to run for Congress. I thought he was in the Philippines still, or Indonesia, or one of those places. Has he lived in Arizona long enough? I'll go into that more later down the road to see if he's actually doing it. I just saw this pop up, and who knows how true it is or how. But to break up my sports talk, guys, get ready for this. I am going to pull off an absolute perfect segue. This is going to be broadcasting gold. All right, so just wait for it, all right? Well, just to be clear, it's not now. It's after I get done talking about this and go into the next thing. So don't base it off what I say here, okay? To break up my sports talk, I wanted to talk about a Vice article I saw that came up. I don't know why this came up on my phone, why this was a news story tailored for me. I don't know. Should I be offended? Maybe. Probably. Or should I just be proud my phone knows me? A group of Harvard historians think that small penises are gonna be back in fashion. Small pipes are coming back to rule the world. I sure fucking hope so, but I highly doubt it. They were talking about how all these Greek sculptures had, small penises, and the problem, the reason that happened is, hate to break it to you, that was before any sort of African immigration / slavery was about. Once you started getting African people, saying African people sounds bad too, but once you started seeing them in quote unquote injected into our society, that kind of went away. So you know why the Greeks had a lot of small penis statues? Because that's all they had. That's all they saw. That wasn't... The Greek people had not been, quote, exposed to the bigger penis. All they see is these tiny Greek penises, so they're just making sculptures of what they see. It's not going to come back into fashion. I hate to say it. Really breaks my heart, but here is what's really going on there. These Harvard professors, these Harvard historians, these doctor of history. Anyway, these Harvard, it's wishful thinking. They're saying, hey, look, we have small pipes. Let's rewrite ancient Greek history. So, hey, maybe if we rewrite this, people feeling nostalgia for ancient Greece are going to say, hey, look at you. You have what ancient Greece had. By God, they're doing the ultimate revenge of the nerds. They're going to convince everyone they're the cool ones. And then say, surprise, not really happened. Like, oh, tee-hee, well, we fell in love with you anyway, so... Even though you're the nerd, even though this doesn't work out, it's a nice try, Harvard historians. It's a fantastic try, but it's just not going to work. You're not going to see it. It's not going to happen. I apologize. All right? I'm with you guys. I would try too. If I was smart enough, I'd figure out a way to try. I would. I really would. But I'm not smart enough. And I don't have people pretending to listen to me like I'm smart. So, good on you guys for trying it, but what can I say? Here comes awesome segue. Speaking of small pipes, it just came out that there's been a bevy of sexual harassment issues in the Women's Professional Soccer League. You see people with small pipes would sexually harass, so that's where the segue comes in. Let me know what you guys think of it. First of all, that loudmouth purple-haired cunt. She enjoys pointing her finger outwards, but the league that she's trying to start or trying to make mainstream, you're having the same fucking problems, bitch. Why don't you look in your own house before you start pointing your finger elsewhere? Huh? Maybe it's not just the president's fault. Maybe Look inward and then point the finger outward. Well, how dare these groups say this? How dare these groups do this? Well, hey, hun, your group's doing it too. Start there. But again, no one's going to say that, because if you say that, you're sexist, you're homophobe, you're, I don't know what else she is, a soccerophobe. I don't know. But you can't say anything bad about her. Can't say that she's an annoying twat. You can't say that she needs to mind her own goddamn business. You can't say that, bitch, you have bigger fish to fry than what the rest of the country's doing. Like, maybe winning gold in your own fucking sport instead of worried about other shit. No, that couldn't be it. They couldn't have been distracted by all those outside influences. Yeah, you were. The one with all the answers has the most problems in their backyard. Ain't that always it? Ain't that always the thing? All the goddamn answers, but shit's going wrong. What was it? The San Diego franchise had a shitload of stuff happen. I don't know. But the whole league is apparently getting Me Too'd, and you're worried about the presidential office. Speaking of that, is no one safe from this toxic environment? Female soccer players are getting Me Too'd. I look at the national team, there's only probably 3 players above a 7 or above. Probably only 3. And it's not the ones who do the most talking, of course. Is no one safe? Maybe there is a problem. I didn't think... Oh, I mean, I won't say I didn't think there was a problem. I mean, the producers never showed me his pipe, so I can't really speak on personal experience. Yet. Hey, Harvey. I'll look at a pipe for $1 million deal. Just saying. I don't think I realized how big of a problem it was until I realized that these soccer players ranging from 3 to 6 or 5 are getting Me Too'd. No one is safe. Now, I went from thinking it's a problem that really needs to be handled and figuring out the right way. I'm going to fucking march, because this is obviously an issue. If that purple hair, square chin broad is getting Me Too'd, by God, it's a problem. And by God, I need to find a way to help. Now, if it was Alex Morgan or, who else? I guess Julie Ertz isn't that bad. Go back to Hope Solo, but, I mean, she had the wonderful iCloud hack. But if it was one of them, I would say, okay, maybe I would probably stay home and just, hope that things got better the way I was doing it before. But now that I see that even the lower on the level totem pole people are doing it, I'm ready to march, people. Sign me up. Where's my pink hat? Time's up. All right? I'm on board. Time's up. I'm with her, or was that just Hillary? I don't know. I'm with somebody. I am on board. Okay? I will march with you. Now that I see it goes that deep, no pun intended, I could tell it's a real problem. I didn't realize how passionate I was about that until I wrote it down. Poor loudmouth lesbians. Before I wrap this up, this might come out to be a little shorter of an episode. I'm sorry, but guess what? Actually, I'm not going to promise anything. I have an idea for a new one coming up during this week, but I can't promise anything. Not with the toils of running a rec league hockey team on my back. I tell you, as soon as I finished that second beer, I got all fired up. That was about perfect. NHL made its debut on ESPN and TNT over this last week. TNT or TBS, I forget which one. They're the same thing. One shows Supernatural all day, the other one shows American Dad all day. Same fucking thing. I don't care what you have to do. If you're the NHL, you have to keep Barkley on the pregame shows. You got to. Even if he just comes on for a little bit, you got to keep him on there. You did a good job by getting the podcast guy on there, the guy from Barstool who's, a little different of a voice. That's good. You got to get Barkley on there. He talks shit to Wayne Gretzky. The great one. He, right to his fucking face. A lot of guys out there aren't going to do that. Well, some of them might, but actually, they didn't seem to. You got to keep Barkley, whatever you do. I don't know if the NHL wants to prorate part of the salary. I don't know if they want to redo the contract. I don't know. Keep Barkley. And anyone who didn't watch the next pregame show on TBS or TNT, whichever one it is. If you have one, you have the other. All right. And if he's there, I dare you to tell me it's not gold. Dare you. Charles Barkley might be the greatest former athlete of all time. He's Yogi Berra with actually being funny. He's Yogi Berra without needing the Laker mystique. Or not Laker. The Yankee mystique. No one would give a flying fuck what Yogi Berra ever said. Any of his quotes. No one would give a shit if he didn't play for the Yankees. Barkley played for Phoenix, Houston, and Philadelphia before Philadelphia was a fucking thing. After Irving, before Iverson, he was on Philadelphia. He was on Phoenix. He's in Houston. And he is still that quotable, that all that shit. Barkley may be the best former player of all time. So you know what I'm telling you? Gary Bettman, commissioner of the NHL. Whoever's running Turner Sports, that's TBS now. Ted Turner's dead, isn't he? He's either dead or retired. You gotta keep Barkley. You're on a new network. You're trying to get new fans. Probably fucking work. Even Barkley said, it came back. He's like, I'm rich and I didn't even have OLN because hockey came back in 2004 on OLN, Outdoor Life Network, for some reason. Barkley's like, oh man, I'm rich and I didn't even have that network. That's a funny line. You got to keep him around. And he's not going to be afraid to piss off suits that he's never met. I mean, the people he pisses off in the NBA, he's actually met. He actually has to deal with. If he goes into a pregame booth for an hour and a half, what the fuck are they going to say to him, right? Got to keep Barkley. If you don't keep Barkley, not only am I slowly not becoming a fan because of how soft it's getting, and I can go into that later too, but I won't be a fan because you clearly have no business direction. Just like always, I ended on my most political point. Keep Charles Barkley. Looks like that's all I got for this episode. I want to thank everyone for checking it out. I would like to thank no one for a fucking beer reference. So, since you didn't give me a beer reference, you don't get to know what I'm drinking. Suck it, bitches. But beyond that, I hope you all enjoyed what I brought to you this episode. Do me a favor, follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, share it around, smash that like button. Share it around, tell your friends. If you don't like it, tell the people you don't like. Because if you don't like it, the people you don't like will probably like it. It's friend of my friend is an enemy or something. Yeah, that's not right. But that whole thing that they talk about, the enemy of my friend is my neighbor. I don't know. Whatever that saying is, if you don't like the show, you tell people you don't like, they probably will like it. So, All right, so mention Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I will be hopefully coming with a new episode sooner rather than later, so be on the lookout for that. I don't think there's anything else, so since there's nothing else, I will see you all next time.